believe. hurricanes come, what I know I can't be a high. There's a lot of things that don't play a part in how you construct. So with us, we're trying to construct all the way to Shabaim, which are the heights expansion. What he's doing, he's talking about being there. So it's going to be really important to look at the foundation that we set, because that allows us to realize just how high we can go. Right? So just saying that we can really look at this Romans 15. For this is we don't typically use the King James version. We use different translations to kind of get back to using the fundamental words. And like I said, and really, watch it, we could. You can show the Aleph chart.
Yes, sir.
Don't just see this. And matter of fact, we'll read this and then we'll look at the chart. Because like I'm just a hog. The chart. It's just so simplistic. It just makes so much sense when you look at it. Have you ever seen an Aleph chart before? Those are letters. This like they have the alphabets. All these things were actually fabricated from the Aleph chart. These are the original structure of how men started communicating, which was hieroglyphs, writing with pictures. Like they say, pictures have 1,000 words, which have more than one word that typically mean 1,000 different things. So they could depict and understand certain things because everything he gave them were things that either correlated with them or things they used or things they did. What matter of fact, okay. So this is the Aleph chart. Here is the Aleph. I think the actual word is called Bakar. They use the ox head is what they use. And you can see this is as it began, the man began to evolve. He started going from that picture, he started using symbols. This symbol, if you look, is symbolic to the 8. That is a man, he would hold the back of the plow, and he would have 2 olives on the side. He would be plowing. If you take this and turn this like this, the letter A.
Yeah.
And they see they beat us. We didn't know that they took their writings that they give us today. They call alphabets, ABC. They took it and stole it from here. I see they just stole again. It came back. So I said, let's get it right. So we went from the picture of the olive. Now, what that olive represented when people see that, because they dealt with the olive. The olive, which was the Bakar, his name, was considered to be the strongest animal that they owned. So they would have sheep, goats, they would have the olive. Well, what they learned with the olive and what they knew, the olive, the axe head, can we slide and show the definition of it?
Yes, sir.
They knew he was strong. You don't see him, he's strong. They knew he had power. They knew he was a leader. So when he would tell us that he was Elohim, he let us know. Let's go again. He would let us know that he was powerful, he was strong, he was a leader. So the other animals will follow. If you watch them, you will see one that will lead the whole crowd. That's what you look at, and we'll look at the word for that. So when you look at the olive, the next one we'll look at, come back over. We come out to the bed. This is the bed. So if you take this symbol here. So what this is the entrance into the house. So when you come into the house, this is typical like growing up. You ever had friends come to your house? Growing up, they couldn't come here. This is what a family, like mother room, that's off limit. Nobody goes in there. So typical family comes in, you stay here. People come to visit. Well, families stay on this side. So this will be symbol of the house. Now, if you take this and do this to it, that's the TV. This is the bed. Now this is how they start writing here. This writing comes up. This is called the middle. So this is the middle between when the ancient here, and this is what they call the modern. They started writing, they start scripting this from Aramaic. So then we look at the bed. Let's see what the bed is. This is what's called the tent floor plan. What's important, which we know, you like to build a building. I can't just take some bricks and start building. Typically, there's got to be some architectural structure, something that I can look at to look at how it's designed to be. So with doing all this, give me an opportunity to consider. So he look at and he said, this is what it means: the family, the house, and in. So what he would be considered is the strong man of the house. So we call him, they'll say father. Father typically look at dad, the mother, the father, maybe not necessarily my mother, but for him, for us, when we say Abba, we're looking at he's the strong man of the house. He leads the house. So this not only let us know about him, it let us know about man. When he made man, he made it in his image and his likeness. So man knew that he would basically be what we call word archetypal, which means, you know what I'm saying, something that is an exact of. You see what I'm saying? A replica of. So when he made man, remember he said, I'm gonna make him in my image and my likeness. So we know from the order that the man was first, right? The man was in charge of the home, and the family abided in the house. So when we had that structure, we understood when he told us that he said, I'm Elohim. We understood he was the strong one, he was the leader, and he was powerful. When he told us, I'm the Abba, we knew you are the strong man and you lead the house. You set the plan. Typically, mother don't make the plan for the house. She might say something. She said, well, let's check with your dad. Go see with your dad because he's going to be the person that's going to find a safe out or say what we will do. So with us having it, we understood the responsibilities that he had, from chastisement, from providing. So situations that we got ourselves into, we looked at, he put us in a situation when he brought them out of Mitzrayim, that they call Egypt. He put in a situation that he looked at, I'm an Abba, I can provide. Sure. So this is how he was able to do things for us, unlike he does today. Typically, the children don't look to do, you look to the father. Sure. For a decision. Sometimes you go, I want to ask my dad about it. Because you look at him having the wisdom, having the knowledge about it, having experience. And these are the things we learn for ourselves, so we understand why we consult the Father. And we consult him by his name, by giving reverence to him and having an understanding of how the home operates. Christianity, it never taught us that. It just said he's Father God. And what is Father God? The Father? That's not giving me enough information to make me understand why am I going to him as another man? Because he's the Father. He's the Abba. He's the strong man in the house. He sets the plan. Not trying to be long, but let's just look at a couple more things. Here, it's called the gown, which is the foot. What they knew about the foot was used to travel, and this is how they play games, just like soccer. It's always been something they played. They used the foot. Everything like that they did was on foot. So they understood the importance of the foot. Let me see what the foot do. Sometimes they might say, go get me some of it. Go get the groceries out the car. So how you gonna do? You're gonna crawl, you're gonna walk out. And when you do, you're going to gallop. And you're going to walk. So now we look at when Elohim gives us instruction, when he tells us to do something, he's trying to teach us how to walk. Just like with a child. You'll get them up and you might let them hold something. You might take the hand. You know, you got a small look, and you let them hold your hand, and you get them to where they can, you get them to go. So now you're teaching them how they ought to walk. You know what I'm saying? Typically, when a new starting out child, they'll stumble, they'll fall. Sometimes they'll fall to hurt themselves. So he tries to get us to understand the importance of understanding how to walk. And the writings tell us that furthermore you receive of us, how you ought to walk. Now, so you can do what? Please. How happy is a father or mother when they see the child can walk? Right. They're like, you're doing it. This is what he's trying to get us to do. But typically they have got us that understanding, so we understand the relationship and the importance of what we're trying to do. What we got over there next. So this is something that I truly is being able to see it and understand how it actually works with us and gives us a better understanding, idea of what it is he's trying to get us to do. And that's hurt us for so many years, and we hadn't understood the punishments, the morality. Anybody get a gift, everybody, they happy. Like somebody come and give you $100, he said, I don't understand I'll take it. But when correction comes is when we tend to question and begin to doubt. Right. But we'll understand, just like with a child in a home, there's correction, there's also other things given. So having that understanding about him and how he operates is so imperative to us. I appreciate that. I wouldn't be wrong on that, but we'll get back the door, the dog. That's important, the hanging door. There's a picture of the door, the tent. In order to get in the house, everybody got to have an entranceway. So you got an entranceway. Something has to allow you to go in and to go out. So having that information just gives us a better opportunity, because he told us in the writings, he said, truly, truly, I'm the door. But we never understood the door is just like that. If it's locked, you can't get in. The only way to come in lawfully is I come in through the window. That's gonna call the police, that's gonna call Bert, and that's what people are doing with Christianity and other religions. They're trying to come in the way he had done it. The only way to come into this house, let me come bring it up to me a little bit. This is the house, and in is what it says. So if I came in this way, would this be correct? No, sir. If I tried the back door, no. Only way to come in is here. So when we understand, so I have to do it. So you said, I'm gonna do it. The only way to get into the house is to come in by me. So he's telling you all this is the structure that they knew. Let's see me. Well, you take my foot. So when he told them that he was the door, our people that understood the language understood. He said he was the dog. He was the door. Let me see what. Moving, hanging, entrance. So they put him up on the cross. Guess what he was doing? He was the hanging door. Right. So they understood everything he showed that he gave them. They understood it. And that's what we try to get them to do now, to try to understand what it is that he tried to get them to try to demonstrate to them. So that's our goal, to get a better understanding of it. It's important to us for the fact of our people have been a people that have been damaged so long. There's more rationale for us not to believe than to believe, based off of how it's been given to us. It's really more easier to not believe than to believe, based off of the information they gave us. Because it's so incomplete. There's so many things that they really, it's unanswered. And when things happen to us, it's easy to just say, what's the point? But when we go back to realize what he set up for, how the family structure is actually set up and delegated, it starts to make better sense to realize why we're with it, why we accept certain things.
No, we good. I just want to give you a little more.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll get one. I just want to put that on there right quick. Now, this is the basis of what we did. I might come back here and look at this some more. There's a lot of things that he gave. We'll come back and look at, just kind of get not to overwhelm with it, just kind of basics of why we go to start looking at what he actually set up and intended and what they knew. So 15:4, I use this for the foundation. This is 15:4. Watch you can read it for. Okay.
For whatsoever things was written before time were written for our learning.
So the word written for us is katab, something scripted. So we letting them know now. This is something important to know, because when you read the Bible, like it's Christian, they'll just look at the New Testament. Mm-hmm. With New Testament Christian, Jesus came. So a lot of that, we don't really worry about. We just really stick to the New Testament. When they want tithes, none of them gonna get rid of. They never gonna get rid of the Old Testament. It's when convenient, or they can. If my people call by my name, anything that doesn't convict the Christian, right? This religion, they'll run that. As soon as you say, "Well, let me ask you about this," oh, that's the old law, hard law. We can't do that. But amazingly, this New Testament writing tells us that for whatever things, which is plural, were written katab aforetime, was only katab for the word we use for learning is lamed. That's on the chart. It means to teach, to show, and to instruct, which makes a difference when people just tell you something versus showing and illustrating. The lamed is here. For the lamed, it's a shepherd staff. What's important about the shepherd staff? Because Arah, that's my title, it means cause to see, a shepherd overseas. So what the shepherd staff could do, if hypothetically, if they were sheep and say around the sheep, and he started to go, I can take it, it's heavy. But they have no get back over here. I didn't get back with the phone. So the shepherd would use his lamed to be, or if he fell in a ditch, I could take the other end and pull him out. So a lot of different things they understood. The shepherd staff, it's called the long, which is the root of it, to teach, the yoke, authority, and mind. They knew who had the sheep. He said, my sheep know me, they know my voice. They also knew him because they knew his corrections. Because it's you, like when he hit the sheep, it ain't the killer, I'm trying to get you back with the fold. And a lot of times people don't understand when Elohim does things to us, it's not the killers, I'm trying to get you back in the fold for your safety. What can happen when you have got predators? A lot of these other religions, that's what they wait on people to break away. They wait on people to be misinformed. They wait on people emotionally hurt so they can pick them up and trick them, and then you steal them away. He tell the thief come to steal, kill, to destroy. So when we understand these things, that we look at when I'm getting chastised, it ain't because he hates me. He's just trying to get me back with the fold. And I understand that's a symbol of his authority, like a parent. Some of them, I don't know about that, they have a belt. Some of them have a ruler. And you know what that meant when they got it. You're like, I know what you're going to do with that. You know, right? That means I've gotten out of line. And it's things that we understood. Sometimes our parents had to tell, you knew they were coming. You knew I done messed up. And I'm getting ready to get corrected. So these are things he wants to know about him so we understand how he operates. Here, just let I get this one for now. This is called the cuff. Make a fist, that's the cuff. So we understand that with the cuff, the open hand, the open palm, which means allow. He said, gonna give me something, I'm having a hand like this, I can't receive it. So they understood the open hand, they understood the palm, they knew when it was balled up the fist, to bind, to open, to allow, and to tame. So when Yahushua, who they would call Jesus, when you saw Yahushua, they took their fist and they hit him. They were hitting him with his fist to try to tame him, trying to get him to do something they wanted them to do. The open hand, they were open hand slapper or to bind. So all these different things, we start to understand, like Elohim's hand, which is called the yard. They'll look at the yard, the hand. So we understood Elohim's hand when he would give us something, when things were open to us, when he was trying to tame us, trying to teach us, and trying to culture us into different things. So it's important just for us to understand something. So we'll come back over to what we had right quick. Back over to Romans the 15th chapter. For whatever things were katar, written aforetime, were katar for our learning, to teach us, instruct us, and show us that we through patience, which is going through without quitting. That's what a lot of us do. When stuff happens, people just quit and give up. So now he's letting me know all of the stuff that I go back and read, it was actually there when I feel like quitting and giving up. There's actually writings that were put there for me to understand, don't quit. So if I quit, it's because I haven't properly used it.
Right.
See what I'm saying? That's what happens a lot of times. People say, you know, I tried it, it didn't work for me. Then you ask yourself, did you use it efficiently? You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of, I don't know if y'all have a toy called a slinky. You get it, you can do it like this, you let it go, and this thing will start going out and stuff. Mine never worked. Because I just throw it down and I start, and after a while, I just stretch it and tear it up. And I'm like, there were people that said, well, mine don't work. And you're right, I don't know what mine was tore. It wasn't tore up. I just didn't know how to use it. So since I didn't know how to use it, I just stretch it, and I just mess it up, and I just throw it away. And we've done that with Elohim because we hadn't properly we don't probably know how to use it. So we don't know how to use it. You tip just say, what? It's stupid anyway. I'm not saying him. It's dumb. I don't have time for it. I got other things to do. But when we understand how he works and the purpose of his ideas, it allows us, it treats us more to get more information about it. So now he said that through patience, which is going through without quitting, and the comfort, the word we use for this is called makum, of the writings, plural, all of those writings, it gives us what we call tipa. It gives us a core, it gives us an attachment, something to hold to. And that's important. So for me, starting here gives me a good idea on how this works. Instead of reading years ago, I read stuff, I just realized this really don't make this a bunch of names. I don't really know. Just go to you find something that fit. Versus when I understand all of it was written for a purpose, then I put a value on everything. Makes sense? So since I'm talking, let's look at something. Since I said the 8th chapter of the book of Yehukanan, they'll call it John. But the proper name is called Yehukanan. 8 and 30. Just use this real quick. And the name Yehukanan, it means that Yah is gracious. Okay. Let's see something. Matter of fact, give me 26. This is him talking. 26. Listen.
I have many things to say and to sharpen of you and to judge of you.
Judge.
But he that sent me is true. And I speak to the world those things which I have heard of him.
See that? He's saying everything I told you is what he told me. Sometimes you might say something, And they might say, you know what, he sounds just like your dad. You know what I'm saying? You sound like your father. People see that it's because he looked at everything I'm telling you is what I heard. And typically with kids, they'll mimic. Right. I remember my daddy used to get in the mirror, he used to shave. I would come in the mirror, I'd stand on the other side of him, I'd be shaving, he'd look down at me like what I'm doing. I started mimicking what he did. I want to do what he did. I said, well, I see him doing it. I want to be able to shave. So what he looked at, he started looking at, if you hear my conversation, I'm only saying the things that he showed me, the things he taught me. Come on.
They understood not that he spake to them of the Father.
Of the Father.
Then Yahushua then said Yahushua unto him, when ye have lifted up the being of man, then shall you know that I am he, and that I do nothing of myself, but as my Father hath taught me, I speak these things.
So he tell you taught. So we look at the lumber again, showing you that everything he's instructing me, how he led me. These are the very exact things that I taught. Everything he showed me, go look at the lumber, everything he taught me. Okay? Everything he showed me. 29.
And he sent me, and he that sent me is with me. The Father hath not left me alone.
To the why?
For I do always those things that please him.
So he told me there's never been a separation. So now this helps us to learn how to create a relationship. Sometimes we feel like we've been forsaken. We feel like we've been forgotten. There's a separation. But here he let us know. He said, well, the Father has never left me because I do always the things that please him. Sometimes they get upset and say, go in your room. Get out of my face. They get irritated. I know I was going to the parents like, get out of my face. So there's a separation. I remember sometimes getting in trouble, you're in the room with them, they know you're in trouble. Get out of here. Get in your room. Get out. So it's a separation. He said, he never left me alone because I do always think for please. Listen.
As he spoke these words, many believed on him.
They among on him.
Then Yahushua then said Yahushua to those Yahudim which believed on him.
So they put Jews, but the Yahudim. So Yehuda itself, it means celebrate. So it's important to know why he favors a group over another. Like you hear the title Israel, Yasharal. They say Israel, you hear the Jews, but the proper name is Yehudi or Yahudim. And the reason why he look at them, he has favored them because the name is celebrate. He look at them and celebrate. So he's gonna do something. You have a celebration. You want people who know how to celebrate, but they celebrate because of a structure, because of information that they have. So he's saying this to those. So if you were there, if you were not a Yahudim, he wasn't talking to you. Somebody said, I can't hear what he's saying. What did he say? He wasn't talking to you. He was only talking to the Yahudim that among them. If you
continue in my Dabarim, then are ye my disciples of Theus indeed.
Yeah, so his Talmudim is the word we use. Talmudim means taught ones. These are the ones that are taught. So if you continue, the word we have for this on our ancient chart, this word called nun, N-U-N, it means a seed. It means to continue. So if I have say a particular fruit, say an orange, I like oranges a lot. So if I had that orange, after I ate the orange, that's it. Unless I took a seed from it and I planted that seed and that seed grew and it began to flourish and I had more oranges. I eat another orange and I plant the seed and now it gives me more oranges every time I plant a seed. So the new, when they look at continue, this is what you look at, the seed. This is the seed. So you look at the seed, you can see it going down because the first thing what it has to do is got to take root first. So you look at it going up because it has to come down first to get root, the seed. That's the middle of how they made it, and this is the martyr, what they call the martyr. The noon, the seed. So this is what a seed can do. It can continue. That's why he said if you continue, they will understand they knew the whole bit. They knew he was talking about the noon, continue. Also, we look at a seed. Y'all a son. So typically the oldest son is an heir. So they knew the noon also would be somebody come in possession of the noon, and it will be the son. So they understood this practice. Now he's telling us how to become his children, how to continue, and how we come in possession. Like people say, well, you hear people say, I want to go to heaven. You heard that. People typically say, I want to go to heaven. But the whole premise is how. So he's telling them how to get to be with Elohim, how to get inside the house. Well, the only way to do that is to be a son. You got to be a son in order for you to go on the other side. And you got to also look at being an heir, and then you come in possession of something. So like, nobody just, who gonna go on the street and just give a total stranger possession of what they have? Why would he just walk up and just give me eternal life, give me a place with him. What have you done? We have no relation. But Christianity makes it seem as though anybody can get it. Anybody can obtain it, but it's by a certain structure. It's a certain order that has to be performed first, it has to be kept, versus the way they told us things over the years. Get up, just say, I want to be free, say, I want to be your child, which makes no sense. You need to be taught. There's information you need to know. There's behavior that had to be exemplified. So I appreciate the fact that now he told us about, if you continue in my word, my doctrine, then are. So I understand. Then said Yahushua to those Yahudim which among him, if you knew, continue in my word, the bar, then are you my Talmudim indeed, which are my taught ones. Listen, and ye shall
know the truth,
which is the Amat,
and the truth shall make you free.
So this is our liberty. Like people say, I want to be free. The liberty comes in with knowing information. You look at just like with, let's say, the quote unquote African Americans. They like the subtitles with American things. They'll say, well, slavery was abolished in what, 1840 something maybe? Mm-hmm. But why are we still bound? Because we don't know the truth.
That's right.
So you give people fragments of things, they learn they don't keep us chained up, but we're chained mentally because we don't have information that allows us to be able to operate as a free people. So they just train us in a way to where I don't have to hold a gun on you all the time. I shout at your mind to where I can leave you and I know you'll be here. Because I tell you, you know God watching you. If I keep you pick up something, you get something, God sees you. Now the question I ask from them, why God didn't see them when they came and stole us? Why God didn't see them when they were raping women? We know that Elohim sees us, but they used it on us in a way where it kept us from actually growing or breaking away from them. Because they gave us what we needed to know to keep us in prison. Religion, again, can be done for the fact it can keep a person to where it locks them down and don't keep them for information. But what he was trying to get them to know was the amount. He said the amount makes you free. How I look at it, from my understanding, is when they was in Misraim, they called Egypt. They were captive there for 400 years. And the reason they were there, because they didn't know the truth, which was him, Elohim. They knew some things about him. When Mushaf, what they called Moses, came down to speak to them about delivering them, he never just came down and took them out. There was a whole census of things that were put into play. From the fact that he came down, he actually showed them everything before he did it. So, right quick, look at the fourth chapter of the book of, they'll call it Exodus, but the actual name is Ala Shemut. Shemut. And this means, and these were the names. Let me say that's about 19. Just want to get a simple idea of just how this actually works. This is the fourth chapter. Now they told you Exodus. They tell you the name of the book is Exodus because they exited out. That is not the name of the book. The name of the book is the writing scroll. Because that's what it's called. Ula Shemut. So it's called. These are the names because he gave them the name. Right. So so we start looking for things just like an encyclopedia or just like a dictionary. You start looking at a certain letter to get to certain thing. If I'm looking for a word that has a B sound, I won't be looking at the C's. I won't be looking at the Z's. It makes no sense. I'm gonna go look in a certain area that's gonna put me in the parameter to find what I need. So all of our scrolls were written. The book that they call Genesis, actually, the name of it is called Barashit. It means in the height of beginnings. The second book is U'ala Shemut, they call Exodus. The third book is Uyakra, that they call Leviticus. It means, and he called. The third one is Bamatbar. That means in the wilderness, they call it Numbers. The fifth book is all Ha-Dabarim, and it means, and these are the words, they call it Deuteronomy. Sometimes we put the books together. Barashit in the beginning. U'ala Shemut, these were the names. Uyakra, and he called. And the third one, Bamar, in the wilderness, because we were hiding. And the third and the fifth book was, and these were the words. So we look at the book. He's telling us right here, look, in the beginning, these were the names. Right. And I called you. You were in the wilderness, and these were the words. So we have an understanding now. It lines us in it aligns itself to them. It makes sense versus Genesis. What Genesis means? Genesis. What is X? We left. What is Numbers? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You see, you don't really have a clear, concrete reasoning to why these books are named a certain way. Because now it helps me understand. He's telling me in the beginning, these were the names. So the name they give it don't make sense. He said, and he called. Where was I? In the wilderness, similar to Adam. When he called him, he hid himself among the trees. So all these things start to make sense when he doesn't know. And this is what I see. Verses say, I know it ain't the Bible, but God is moving and he's saying something. He can't be telling you anything different. These are the words, because this was written aforetime for my learning. So I can't allow you to tell me something that throws me off. When he told me, why would he tell me whatever was written before was written for my learning? Then he's gonna tell me something different. That makes no sense. Then you confuse me.
Right.
I'm getting lost in the plan. So like I said, I appreciate it. Listen to this. This is 4:19. Listen.
And Yahuwah said unto Mashah in Midian, go, return into Mizraim, for all Anashim are dead, which sought thy Cain.
They lied. Come on.
And Mashah took his Isha and his men and set them upon the
Carmel, which is the donkey, these are the ass.
Gomorrah.
Yeah, come on.
Gomorrah, and he returned to the bed of Mizraim. And Mashah took the rod of Elohim in his hand. And Yahuwah said unto Mashah, when thou goest to return into Mizraim,
Listen now, when he go to Mizraim, this is what he want to do.
see that thou doest all those wonders before Pharaoh.
So the word we use is ox. Ox are signs. He said, I want you to go and do all these signs before Pharaoh, who is their ruler, which
I have put in thy hand, but I will harden his law, and he shall not let the people go.
just like white people did with us in America. Come on.
And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, thus said Yahuwah, Yasharal is my ben, even my Rosh ben.
See that? The Rosh means the first. So now we learn something. He's telling why. He said, this is my son. Not only that, he's my first, so we'll let us know he's the heir. That's why I want him gone. He is the heir. He's the one that come into possession. He's going to continue. Just the thing he told you, that he said he's a son. You just learn, he's my firstborn. He's the son. He's the inheritor. He's the one that's going to continue. Go ahead.
And it came to pass, by the way in the end, that Yahuwah met him and sought to kill him. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her ben.
We've done the 27. That's on 27. This one for six. Listen.
And Yahuwah said to Aharon, go into the Machbar
In the wilderness.
to meet Moshe. And he went, and he met him in the mount of Elohim, and kissed him. And Moshe told Aharon all the Dabarim of Yahuwah, who had sent him, and all the arts which he had among him.
See that now he told him all the words that he told him. He was specific about him. Make sure you do everything just like I showed you. Don't do anything differently. These are important key points for us, because now people are telling us things that are totally different than what he saw. And now he told him all the words, like Allah Hadarim. These are the words that he told me, and he commanded me. And then Yahushua said that about how the Father told him all the things he knew. So he was replicating, letting them know this is the same pattern that was for Mushah. Come on.
And Moshe and Aharon went and gathered together all the Zakanim,
With all of the elders of who?
the ben of Yasharal,
Go ahead.
the Yahweh of Yasharal. And Aharon spake all these Dabarim, which Yahuwah had spoken unto Moshe, and did all this arts in the sight of the arm.
So, see, this is before it all happened. This stuff people don't pay attention to. When he did, they knew what he was doing. So when they saw the sign, the ox, it didn't throw them off. They didn't get there saying, what is this? The water blooded. What is this? Fire falling. We don't understand. We confused. The Lord doing a new thing. People don't even pay attention. This and Aharon spoke all the Dabarins which Yahuwah had spoken unto Moshe. Nobody feared. What Moshe heard, he told the exact same thing to his brother. His brother told the exact same thing to the people and did the ox in the sight of the arm. So before Pharaoh said it, before Mizraim said it, they already knew it.
Right.
Now let's look at something else that's key. See if that's the See that the third chapter of the Amos. They call it Amos. I'm gonna say three. Let me just show you something. 3 and 3. Amos. They call it Amos. Amos. 3 and 1. The name Amos means burdensome. Means a burden. How he looked at this, his name means a burden. He had a hard task of what was put on him. The same thing with Yahushua, which makes sense when they tell you to cast all your cares upon him. He's like, my name is burdensome, which means I'm a person that always cares a lot of things. Like Yahushua, when he was on the tube, he had to carry all of the contain the sins of people. He had to carry all the weight of it. So although these people bear the name, these were characteristics that he had to exemplify. Because it was all on him.
Right.
So he was burdensome. He was persecuted. EU. All of the names were all symbolic. They gave us characteristics about him. Now this is 3 and 3. 3 and 1. Why would the 3 and 3? Amos. What's the third verse? That's what he talking about.
And two walk together except they be agreed.
That's why he separated from us. Because he said, I don't agree with what you're doing. Somebody say, hey, I tell Robert, come on, we're gonna ride. It's okay, we're gonna ride around there. I said, I'm gonna go ahead and rob a bank. You let me out. You're like, come on, I thought we were together. Not for that. And that's what he looked at. Once our father Abba got away from what he's I'm not with you. When Yahushua said that Abba had never left him alone, see, they knew he was saying that. That meant he was agreeing with me.
That's right.
Like they said, you can say, well, I was with him, but I didn't. It's like, if you was with him, you just as bad as he is. Mm-hmm. You know, that's how they look at it. And that's why he looked at him. So him telling them that the Abba never left him, he was telling him he agrees with what I do.
That's right.
Y'all said, now he take, can two walk together, which is halak. Can two halak together, except they agree? Go ahead.
Will Ari roar in a Ya'ar
It's in the Father.
when he have no prey?
Listen.
Will a Kefir,
Well, a young army. He's a kafir. That's the word for young.
yeah, that's what it is.
Oh, kafir. Okay, we learned that too. Kafir. So the word kafir. These are the Abri words for. He said, I'm tripping. I ain't never had that before. Well, a young
A
lion.
young lion cried out his den if he have taken nothing.
So now he's asking him a couple of things. He started him. Can two walk together except they be agreed? Now, these are carnal things he asking them because it makes no sense to have a spiritual conversation with us. We have to first understand it naturally. So like I said, how many of y'all agree with smoking cocaine? So let's go get some cocaine. Come on. See, so he's telling you, can two walk together except they agree? He asked the line in Ori. Will Ori cry in the forest? Will all these things, he's telling them things that they will be good. So now you're processing it. No, a lion will cry his den, not till he take it, because he's gonna scare off something before he can get it. Go ahead.
Can a bird fall in a snare upon their rocks where no gin is for him?
He said, how can a bird get trapped into something except a trap was there? There has to be something set there. So all these things he's telling them, they knew about trapping. You put a trap out somewhere and you bait it so you can catch what you intended. So all these things he telling, this ain't spiritual because it won't make no sense. They wouldn't know it. He's telling them things that they know. They hunt. They know. All these things happen. Come on.
Shall once take up a snare from their rocks and I'm taking nothing at all.
He said, I'm not gonna take it. I left it out. It ain't caught nothing. What he said, I bait it again and leave it. I'm still waiting. And that's what he's telling them. Nobody's gonna take it up till he caught what he wants. Go ahead.
Shall the trumpets be blown in the city and the people not be afraid?
And that was important because they used the shofar, which is the trumpet, the ram's horn, and it was a certain way they blew it. It was an alarm. Just like when they said, when Yahushua shall ascend from Shamaim with a shout, and with the voice of Arch Malachim, and they talk about it, and the trump ain't gonna be sound. It's gonna be a fear. It's gonna be a long blast, which is a alarm, and people are gonna be afraid. They're gonna be running and scared. They knew that because that's what they did. When he went in and Gideon went in, they walked around the wall. He said on the Sabbath time, he's gonna shout, and they blew that thing and walked. Those people ran and they killed themselves. Because they was afraid. So everything he's telling them, they knew this historically from their writings, that those people were afraid when they heard it and they killed themselves. So everything he's telling them are carnal things they knew. So listen.
Shall there be evil in a city, a war have not done it.
He asked him a question. We always blame the devil. He allows. Allow the cup. He said, I allow it. He told you, he said, Pharaoh gonna do, he ain't gonna let him go because he gonna do what? The cup. He said, he gonna harden. He said, I did it. I made him harden his law against you. This man oppress you because I hardened his heart against you. When I get, I can allow. He'll let you go. I allow it. So we understood we need to know him on both ends, not just as a deliverer. We didn't know he will put us in captivity, turn away from him. Because we knew him as you're a deliverer, you're a savior, you're a Yasha, you're a feeder, provider. I will also starve you. I will also punish you. I will harden my heart against you. So now it made us look at there was a fear. The fear. He told us that the fear of him was the beginning of our wisdom. That's like you knew what I'm just kidding. What things you couldn't do right there? Just something you knew you did. You would get knocked out of here. It was anything you knew.
He was giving you an instruction to put in from back.
So you knew that. One no guess of it. So you see, so he wanted us to know that if I'm doing something, you need to know I will punish you. Because people in Christianity, they want to just know him as loving God, giving God, saving God, healing God. He's Elohim. He said, I do all these things, but I will also punish you. But we're gonna finish that one, just show you something else. So go ahead.
And 7.
Okay, 7.
Surely Yahuwah Elohim will do nothing.
Listen, surely Yahuwah Elohim will do
nothing.
Listen, he won't do nothing. I said what?
But he revealed his secrets unto his servant, his abad,
Which are his Abadin.
the law.
See, Musha considered it's called a Nabal. These are Nalaim, these prophets. It also can go into somebody's soothsaying. These are words they gave us. Nabal is the word that we typically use a Nalaim, a Nalaim plural for them. So that's why he took Musha up and showed him everything. They said, go down and show it to your brother. Everything. Now show it to the people. That's why before he did anything in Israel, it made sense for them to know. Otherwise, I got these confused people. People saying, but when the Lord started working, he worked in a mysterious way, which makes no sense. He's telling you, listen, he asked you all these questions just to get you here. Surely Yahuwah Elohim will do nothing, but he revealed his secret unto his Abadim, the Nalaim. That's important for us. Christianity, and it's not the only way. I'm more flick on it because it's one of them that's done the most damage to our people. It's done damage to a lot of people in the country. But it's the fact that nobody told us that. When he do stuff, we say, well, the Lord moving, the Lord working with stick. First, I would tell you, I wouldn't just do that. That's why it's important to understand the people he used and see the correlation of relationship. That's why they revered Musha, because they looked at everything you told us, he did it. He showed it to you. They were never put in a situation that they didn't know. Look at this, all right, quick. The 14th chapter of the 14th chapter of the book of Bamidbar. They call it Numbers. We'll start on one right quick. How hard this? This is how hard this. Because man, makes sense. You know, I just look at how many years it hurt me. I get frustrated for the fact that I thought these people were honest when they were telling us stuff. And you realize you could just tell us you didn't know. Mm-hmm. You led us to believe that this man was just doing stuff and he was just coming and saying, oh, he was just hard God. He was, but now he was recalmed, which is the word. He was recalmed them. They didn't, he looked at, I have to chastise it. I know my daddy, he beat me. It felt like he was trying to kill me. But he really, in his way, because he'll tell you, he said, boy, I'll kill you. Your dad never tell you all that. But he did. But he wanted you to know, if I stir up, sometimes you ever told me you be so mad, he said, you ever heard your parents tell you that? Get out my face, Papa, I'll kill you. Mm-hmm. So what they needed you to know, my wrath can get that hot. And when they whooped us and they checked, it seemed like they would, but they knew how to restrain. So we understand sometimes he let us go through things and it feel like he killing us, but I didn't kill you. He let us know. He said, I didn't stir up all my anger. Isn't that right? He knew if I stir up all my anger, he said, all the flesh before me, they would have been dead. So we understand that from our natural relationship with our parents, that although they chastise us hard later, like Me, for one, I hated my dad for a lot of years growing up because I never understood why he was so hard on me and disciplined. But it wasn't real. It was just, I looked at my friends, their parents, they can stay out all night. I wanted their life so bad. You never read about like that. I wanted their life. I was like, man, they get to hang out. They don't get whoopings. And this man whooped me, he busts at me. When they get up, that street light come on. We had street light. That street light come on. He said, time to get in the house. Everybody, I'm saying, I used to myself, can't say to him, I'm like, why I gotta come in the house? You know what? Most of them dead, in prison, messed up mentally, drugged out. What I hated back then for him, as I got older, I realized he was on doing that because he sucks. The way they going, you can't be out there with them. But when you're a child, you process everything as, you give me food, you say, listen, eggs, bacon, pancakes, honey, that orange juice, or ice cream and Snickers. I'm going to make the ice cream and Snickers. And it's going to hurt me later.
Right.
So as a child, you process everything to your likes versus to what's going to help grow you.
Right.
And when we understand that Elohim's whole idea has been to grow us. Just like with a seed, it's a purpose of a seed. A person cultivate, and look, you gotta dig it up. You gotta dig the ground and put it down and cover it up. It's almost like you suffocate. It can't do anything. But later on, you see the benefit from it. So we see why Elohim has done the seed that you're gonna plant. You're gonna take it separate from other seeds. Because you set these aside for a certain purpose. Some seeds you might look, I'm gonna throw them away. Some you say I'm gonna keep because I'm gonna grow these seeds. That's what he did with us. He set some of us aside. He said, because I'm gonna grow these seeds so they can be the new, they'll continue. They're gonna be the heir. They're gonna be the people that's gonna come in possession of the other seeds. Just scatter and go. I don't care about them. So you learn how to look at all the things in life that looked like wasn't fair. You didn't get to do, you wanted to experience and get. He had a reason why he kept us aside. These I was gonna keep because I'm gonna grow these seeds. So I appreciate that information. This is the 14th chapter of the book of Mark. This is in the wilderness. Listen. 14.
And all the congregation lifted up their voice and cried,
Which is silent. Go ahead.
and the people wept that night.
See that? And the people were crying all that night, which is later. Go ahead.
And all the children of Yasharal murmured against Muchah and against Aharon. And the whole congregation said unto them, Would Elohim that we had died in the land of Mizraim,
or
would Elohim we had died in this wilderness.
and you know why they say that? This is how it was. Soon as something don't go the way you want it, soon as you can't do what you want, the first thing you do is put on, I could die. I'll tell you how I be like that. I just wish I was dead sometimes. Because you look at like, I don't know if y'all ever did every time, you're like, you can't do what you want, you're like, I might well be dead. Because you don't see the benefit. That's why he called, look what he called them. And all the who?
You need.
Which are the children. So how a child rationalize stuff? How does a child idea think? As a child. That's what I was. When I was a child, I act like a child. I spake as a child. When I became a man, I put away childish things. And that's so everything they said makes sense. He was trying to get them to go up and possess the land. But they looked at this is more than I want to do. So first I look at it, I just rather die. And maybe he should just let me die then. I don't want to do this. And so these people saw, they cried out all that later, and they were mad when Mushah, they were mad at Aharon. Listen what happened now.
And wherefore have Yahuwah brought us unto this land to fall by the sword,
Listen what happened.
and that our Shah and our Benin
And our children.
should be prayed.
And what happened?
Were it not better for us to return into Mizraim?
Which he told them not to go back. Go ahead.
And they said to one another, Let us make a captain, and let us return into Mizraim. Then Moshe and Aharon fell on their faces before all the assembly of the congregation of the Beni of Yasharal.
Go ahead.
And Yahushua, the Ben of Nun.
Look at that. Listen to Yahushua, the same name they called Jesus. Joshua, his actual name is Yahushua. Look who he's the son of. The son of continue. What's the chance that his dad, his parent, his father name was Nun? Continues. That means Yahushua was supposed to continue. And
Caleb, Kalal, and the Ben of Yephani, which were of them that searched the land. rent their clothes.
They tore their clothes. Go ahead.
And they spake unto all the company of the Beni of Yasharal, saying, the land which we passed through to search it is an exceeding good land.
Yeah.
If Yahuwah delight in us, then he will bring us into this land and give it to us, give it us, and the land which floweth with milk and honey.
It was sweet. They could feed them like a baby. Their children. What you do? You don't feed a baby milk. So he looked at the land was full of milk and honey. It could feed them. It could sustain them, and it was sweet. Go ahead.
Only rebel not against Yahuwah, neither fear ye the people of the land, for they are bread for us.
Which is Lacan.
Their defense is departed from them.
And
Yahuwah is with us.
remember what he said? He said, I had never left him alone. Because I do always the thing that pleases. Now he's telling you who is with them. Because they're looking at, he brought us out of Mitzrayim. Surely he brought us to this point, he can bring us through. For us, a lot of times, when things get challenging outside of our ability, is when we fear to look to quit. But he gets us the situation outside of the short thing being, so we can see where it's important for him to step in. You can see the Abba actually work. I need you to see your ability, I need you to see my ability. Where you can't, I can. So don't ever discredit what can be done based off of what you can only do. Look at what I can do. For them, they did what the average person would do. They saw people bigger than them, and land bigger than them. Them guys don't kill us. Our kids don't wind up being a prey. Our wives don't wind up getting killed. Now they put it on, that's what their concern was. I just don't want to, I ain't scared now. I just don't want to have my kids and my wife. I want to, if it was just me, I'm ready. Let's see what he's telling me.
Fear them not. But all the congregation bad stone them with stones.
Which is the bond.
And the kabul of Yahuwah appeared in the tabernacle of the congregation before all the Beni of Yasharal. And Yahuwah said unto Mashah,
What?
how long will this people provoke me? And how long will it be ere they believe me? For all the odds which I have showed among them.
See, now he said they believe me in error. See, this is the problem. This became a defect because now he's saying it's error for you not to know what I do when I've already performed it before. Now he's looking at all the ox that he showed. I showed among them. Go ahead.
I will smite them with pestilence and disinherit them, and I will make thee a greater nation. I will make of thee a greater nation and mightier than they.
So now he's looking at he's going to make a Ru'i, which is a nation. Listen.
And Moshe said unto Yahuwah,
What did it say?
then the Mizraim shall hear it, for thou broughtest up this people, and they might and die might from among them. And they will tell it to the inhabitants of the land, for they have heard that thou, Yahuwah, art among this people, and thou, Yahuwah, art seen face to face, and that thy cloud standing over them, and that thou goest before them by daytime in a clear pillar of a cloud, and in a pillar of fire by night. Now, if thou shalt kill all this people as one man, then the nations which have heard the fame of thee will speak, saying, because Yahuwah was not able to bring this people into the land which he swore unto them, therefore he has slain them in the wilderness. And now I beseech thee, let the power of my Adon be great, according as thou hast spoken, saying, Yahuwah is long suffering and great and calm, forgiving iniquity and transgressions, and by no means clearing the guilty.
That's what he say he do.
Visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth to the dog.
What did he do?
Pardon, I beseech thee, in iniquity of this people, according unto thy greatness of thy Rakam. And as thou hast forgiven this people from Mizraim even until now. And Yahuwah said, I have pardoned according to thy Dabarim.
What happened?
But as truly as I live, all the earth shall be filled with the kabul of Yahuwah.
Which is the alarm. Go ahead.
Because all those men which have seen my kabul and my
miracle.
And my miracle and my arts, which I did in Mizraim and Bamotbar, and have tempted me now these 10 times, and have not hearkened to my voice.
Which is his call, his sound. He ain't hearken to the sound. Go ahead.
Surely they shall not see the land which I swear unto their fathers,
Listen,
neither shall any of them that provoke me see it.
listen.
But my Abad Caleb, because he had another Ruach with him, and had followed me fully,
Mm-hmm.
him will I bring into this land whereunto he went,
Yeah.
and his seed shall possess it.
See that? The seed don't possess it.
Now the Amalekites and the Canaanites dwelt in the valley. Tomorrow turn you and get into Bamar
Mm-hmm.
by the way of the Red Sea.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahuwah spake unto Moshe in our room, saying, how long shall I bear with this evil congregation,
Rosha. Go ahead.
which murmur against me? I have heard the murmurings of the Beni of Yasharal, which they murmur against me.
Yeah.
Say unto them, as truly I live, saith Yahuwah, as ye have spoken in my ear, so will I do to you.
Mm. That's what he told them. That fear was them dying. What was gonna happen? He said, I heard you. Now the fear you had, that's what I'm gonna do. Let's see what he told them.
Your carcasses shall fall in Bamar.
See, that's what they was afraid of. They weren't gonna go up down. Don't even worry about going. Your fear that you had because you didn't believe me, and the way you believe me was error, which means it was wrong. Then your fear gonna come and hunt you. Come on.
And all that were number of you, according to the whole number, from 20 years old and upward, which have murmured against me,
What happened?
doubtless ye shall not come into the land,
There's no way they're gonna possess it. Listen.
concerning which I swear to make you dwell therein.
Mm-hmm.
Say Caleb, the son of Yaphaneh, and Yahushua, the Ben of Nun.
Yeah.
But your little ones, which he said should be prayed, them will I bring in, and they shall know the land which ye have despised.
Mm-hmm.
But as for you, your carcasses, they shall fall in Bamar.
And
Your beneath shall wander in Bamar 40 years,
yeah.
and bear your whoredoms, until your carcasses be wasted in Bamar.
Uh-huh.
After the number of the days in which ye search the land, even 40 days, each day for a year,
Mm-hmm.
shall ye bear your iniquities,
Even.
even 40 years, and ye shall know my breach of promise.
Which is a shout. Now, what's important about this while we're looking at it? Because remember in the book of Amos, surely Yahuwah don't do nothing except he reveal it to them. Now, but to say that they just went out there, they didn't know what was gonna happen would be a lie. Because you just clearly hear his let us know. All this stuff, the reason why it's so now, we realize why he talked about our fears and why it's important to know. Because he let them know the reason why this happened, these people didn't get in, because it was error the way they were believing. So that's how dangerous it is to just have a person giving us some teaching and they give us an error. Because now he let you know, he said, because the way you believed in me, it was wrong. And it led you to the conclusion of something that you were fearing that wasn't going to happen. And because you believed me wrong, your fears are going to come back on you to happen now. Now, if you notice, he said their carcasses were going to fall in the Bamar, which they were going to fall, they were going to die right in Bamar, but their children wasn't possessing. This is what we learned. In the 12th chapter of the book of Yehukanan, by the 29th verse, he said, except the corn of grain fall into the ground and what? It abides alone.
Mhm.
They became seeds. That's how their children came up to prosper together. So he looked at the same process. I'm going to take you, I'm going to let you fall dead right here in the wilderness. And what's going to spring up from you is who I'm going to let possess it. See, what we didn't realize, even with our captivity and how our people left out here, and with, you know, amazing when you come up this, you kind of look at the whole slave trade, this whole situation, what happened. People never looked at one reason why things happened to them, because they started believing in error.
Right.
Our people weren't carried out of him for no reason. They weren't carried out of him because white people
Right.
had an agenda. They were carried out of him because they did the same thing. They believed in error. Now he's allowed us, the people that proceeded from him, he wiped out a whole tooth off of these people, which generation. Look how long it took for it got to us. When our people first got to the Americans, they call them, we didn't have no Alpha Reed, no writings. We had nothing. We had what they gave us. They made Bibles for us that made us believe. But now, for whatever reason it is, we just started to come back and recover to look at something not right. And that's moving us back to come back and look at the ancient and look at, it's like, what drove us to make us start looking at the ancient? And don't think white people ain't watching. Because they're trying to remember, I never taught you this.
Right.
What made you start going back looking at this? Because he told them, with them, your little one, that's who's gonna possess it.
Right.
But you gonna fall dead right here in Vermont. He used them. It was had they not fallen in. I can get a bloodline, and I can start over in purity, and I can get them over, and I can teach them. Like now, we're sitting down looking at stuff that's done away. People don't even read the old what they call the Testament, let alone they can look at no olive bill. I ain't got time for all that. I just need to read God's word and know you can't unless you know Elohim from where he started.
Right.
Because he declared in the beginning, I was declaring the end. Right. So it was important for us to come back to get this information that our forefathers couldn't get. Those people wandered for 40 years till everyone of them fell dead. He said, I'm just gonna let you keep going. And this is the thing about it. Can you imagine the whole time you walking? Third year. Yeah, I should be getting saved. They knew they weren't gonna be here. I'm not saving you. You'll never get into that. You'll never get in. So they knew, can you imagine the whole time they lived, they knowing, I can't be saved. I'm not getting in. But when they fell dead, people looked at what was going to proceed from them. That's, I'm going to take a seed from you. That seed is who's going to inherit, who's going to possess it. That's why we look at, we told you one of his names first, Yahushua. The Ben-Nun, when he came, they knew. That's how we knew he was going to possess the Mount Cool. We knew he was going to possess it. And there was a seed that was going to spring out from him, and he was going to give this knowledge and information, well, that will come into possession of him. Now, teaching comes in with what? Instructing and showing. So people get to see us. How will other people going to find out? People have to see. They say sometimes seeing is believing. So now it comes out when people watch, people inquisitive. I'm curious. I see you wear stuff. I see you doing certain act. I'm just curious of why. And it's sparking them for a reason. He knew they were going to need to see something. These are odds. These are signs that he put to use us. So people, if they, one thing it works one way or the other. Either you're going to catch it again, or you're going to see it. It's going to come up against you in their my spot judgment. But there are people that he's already designated that's going to get this. Because he done let the word. He said, it's going out of my mouth. It ain't coming back, boy. There was nobody who sitting there with him for 40 years. He said, what's coming? There was no way they would get in. It don't matter what they said. It don't matter what they prayed. He put it out of his mouth because that was part of what he said he was going to do. We need to know definitively if he told us something, he could do it. The last thing we need to do, he said, well, it's a 50-50. It's a 50-50. How much I'm going to put in it? We needed to know he could do. He said, even from the punishment, it allowed us to realize if he told us he was going to do something, that was going to happen. Let's go at the third chapter book of Abarim. They call it Hebrew Abarim or Abarim. Right quick, three is gonna read now. I appreciate it. And the white man's got a lot of hate from all of this. Some, I mean, not without no rationale or reasoning, but one thing we never put no hate on was the fact of what the fathers did. Okay, listen.
Wherefore, Kadash Hakim,
Which is separated, but hold on, Kodash is just separated, brother. Go ahead.
partakers of the Shemahim calling,
Yeah,
consider the
Shalom.
Shalakim
Shalom, I'm sorry, Shalom. They say apostle, Shalom is a sent one.
and the Rosh Kohan
Uh-huh,
of our profession,
go ahead.
Mashiach Yahushua,
Yeah.
who was Aman to him that appointed him. As
Aman.
also Mashah was Aman in all his bed.
They look at the word favor, they put him in a lot of times, these words refer over to Greek deities. They look at Aman, which is solid. You know what I'm saying? We look at the solid structure, like a foundation you put down. So he looked at, he told us to consider him, and he compared him with somebody they knew. He said he was Amanah, he was solid in what he built up and what he was. He said, as also Mushah was. So it was simple. You know what I'm saying? We look at the same way in all his bed, in all his house. Come on.
For this each was counted worthy of more kabul than Mashah,
Listen.
inasmuch as he who hath built the house had more honor than the house.
That's the truth. They look at it like you built, when they look at it, man, you built that. They built it, look at it. You did it. Wow. So they said, looking at it, he's like, of course. He said, consider it. Who gonna get more glory? The one in the house or the one that built it? They're looking at the engineer. Again, what we go back to the floor plan. You're the person that put this together. So everything he's telling them, they understand that. Go ahead.
For every house is builded by some each,
See that? What happened?
but he that built all things is Elohim.
That's right. See that? Go ahead.
And Bashar verily was Aman in all his
He
house,
said, truly he was. As what?
as a servant
See, as a servant.
for a testimony of those things which were to be spoken after.
See that? Go ahead.
But Mashiach, as a being over his own house,
Which is the anointed one.
whose house are we,
Yeah.
and we hold fast the confidence and the rejoicing of the hope of the Tikva firm unto the end.
Okay.
Wherefore, as the world Hakadah said,
Do what?
today, if you will hear his voice,
Which is his call, his sound. That's what we want to do.
harden not your hearts,
Like what?
as in the provocation,
When?
in the day of temptation,
Where was that at?
Bamar,
When what happened?
when your fathers tempted me,
And did what?
proved me,
And saw what?
my works 40 years.
Every day was a year. He bring this New Testament. Why is he telling us about that? He telling you about it now. He's telling us, don't tempt me, don't serve me, don't learn me in error, don't believe me in error, because it's gonna come back to your hurt. Why is he bringing this up? We learned it was because he said you believe in error. Now he's telling you don't do that. They saw I would do the same thing again. What happened?
Wherefore, I was grieved with that generation,
Which is that Tuladah.
and said,
They do what?
always err in their heart.
See that? He told them how to believe what? It was an error. That's what he did. He's giving us an explanation of why. We said, that don't make sense. It was, why would he do that then? Why would he? He told you why. Because they were in error in their laws. They didn't believe me the correct way when I told them something. I'm telling you not to do that. Go ahead.
And they have not known my ways.
See that? That's why it's angry. We need to know what it is he wants to do. That's why I say the olive belt helps us to get a better understanding. Versus people, you know, God didn't expect me to know all this. He just want me to love him. I don't know how to love him unless he shows me. He tells me what he wants till I know him enough. What did he require? What is it that you're looking for from me? And I can see if that's something I can do. But the way they tell you things just don't logically make sense. Versus when they tell you, I can see now why these people didn't make it. He said in their law, it was error. And this is why. And I said, listen, I was grieved with them. They grieved me. And I swore in my wrath, I was upset. They wouldn't give me in. Come on.
Take heed, brethren,
Listen what happened.
lest there be any of you an evil heart of unbelief,
See that? That's why they didn't believe it. What happened?
and departing from the living Elohim.
And that's what he looked at. And they were there, but their heart had drew. He told these people draw not me with their mouth. And they honor me with their lips. But he said the law, far from me. And the commandment they teach is the doctrine of me. So now we start understanding. He's telling me now what I gotta watch out for. Because now if something happens to me later, I can't be saying, Lord, I don't know what's happening. Oh, Jesus, I don't know. I ain't got no idea. I told you before you done it. I don't do nothing unless I tell you for it. Why would you say that? So I already know if I depart, if I turn away, what's going to happen to me? He's going to put me in here, I'm going to be a prey. He's going to cut me out. Versus people have lied us and say, well, we don't never know what the Lord is going to do behind it. All we can do is hope and trust. That makes no sense when he's telling me that the same thing is going to happen again if I do what they did. So now, whatever was written aforetime, written for my life, to show me, to teach me, to instruct me. It makes no sense to believe that he's just doing things to people for no reason. He's telling you, but I didn't know it. It's because you didn't go through the information. It's here. He's doing nothing outside of his writing. People have lied to us. Ain't nothing going on here new. He told us this thing was going to happen. So go ahead.
But exhort one another daily,
Warning. We're supposed to warn each other daily.
while it is called today,
Why it's called a day?
lest any of you be hardened through the deceitfulness of sin.
Because he talked about them whoremonger too. They're whore. What happened?
For we are made partakers of Mashiach,
Yeah.
if we hold the beginning of our confidence steadfast unto the end.
And that's what we're looking at. Start off, you can start believing, then you can find out the discipline. You know what I'm saying? He was talking about when a man get ready to build, he told to do so. Y'all know what it was? I'm sorry, you working in finance. So if they got a project, they getting ready to try to build. Y'all just gonna go out and start doing it when they give you all the paperwork? Or y'all start cost? Why you gonna look at cost, Robert?
See whether it can complete, not to complete stuff.
Because all you need to do is get out there and get started. And guess what happened? Then he gonna have a problem with you. Because he gonna say, you started out, but you couldn't finish. See, these are natural things we know, so it makes sense. So it makes sense when I start out, to sit down, look at it, count up the costs to make sure I have enough to complete the job. When you start out, they're never being builders from us doing it. It's not like catching something raw. And in your mind, you kind of got an idea where you want it, and you try to get it to certain points so you can see, I'm seeing now where I'm going. And you get it to completion and realize, I took this, it was nothing, where it was just trees and bushes, where I cleared this out, I set this up, I got my rug, got my foundation, got my roughing in, I got my stuff. It's, you know, it's certain parts you want to get to. So you can start to see this thing. But that's the same thing with Yahuwah. When we get this information, you can really start seeing it come together versus I'm still at it. I haven't even cleared nothing out of the way. It's still looking almost desert. So although I might have an idea in my mind, I can't literally see it. For a builder, you got certain points you need to see done. You want to see it get to completion. You can say, I'm finished with that. It's done. Like Yahushua, when he was on the tooth, you know what he told me? It's finished. Hey, look, I've been building this for 30-something years. I finally got it to completion. That's why he said, it's finished. I'm done. For on product, what you looking for? Ain't nothing like you get started, okay, to get it on. You're like, I need to get this done. I need to get out of this. I need to get this completed. And this is the thing we looking at, not that we need to hurry up and get out of him. We need to get to that point that we can see success. But that comes down with making sure that we're detailed. Making sure things aren't missed. You got sometimes you might go back and look some up again and say, well, hey, Herb, you got the numbers. Then give me a minute. I just want to double check something. I just want to make sure. And they be like, this, I need to let me just, because you know, you get out here, you're stuck at that point. I got a job I do, I missed something. And it cost me. It cost me. But I realized I was moving, I counted on somebody to do something, but it taught me, it's the same when you do this. You can't afford to let somebody else do something for you. You got to make sure what you're doing. Because at the end of the day, it's your life. Mm-hmm. This your life. That's what it cost me that money. That's that I'm in. I can get out of this and done. If I get this wrong, just like they did, they couldn't come back and make that up. He said, it's already too far gone. You basically have built everything they built up coming out of this right was in vain. How would you feel you get on a project and you get up and the man come and condemn it? He said, all this got to come down. What you thinking? Are you serious? I had a job one time I did. I went and did some stuff. When it was the farmhouse. I remember that farmhouse when they had somehow a porch was put up outside. And somebody said they had got a call because they thought somebody made it a plant house. It was months. They finally came out. I started working the house. They saw the sheetrock. It was like, all this got to come out of here. I said, oh, listen, brand new sheetrock through this whole house. They said, listen, take it all out of here, go back and do all the electrical. We had to go back and do that house up. I was so mad myself. So you understand how important it is to make sure things are done right. And how we do in life a lot of times, and we try to see what we can get about with, maybe be okay. But the thing is, you get caught, it costs you more. That is a natural thing. This you get wrong. That's it. The whole project scrapped, condemned. So it's important to make sure we get this thing right. I appreciate y'all. Appreciate Robert running the letters usually. I really appreciate that. You know, opening up, you know, y'all business opened up for us a lot to come in here. Steve been great too. South Palm, Patrick definitely been great. You know, have y'all guys being here with y'all the time y'all put out really short a good time here. South Palm know everything. You know, call us everything. We don't just know about stuff in the earth. We know about stuff on Mars, on the moon, you know. This ain't enough. South Palm knows everything in this. You know, all the constellations. But he know we done had fun with it. He was like, so many questions we done had fun with it. You know, that's how we do it. We did the all y'all.
Wait for the camera. Stop on.
Appreciate
Wait
all
till the
y'all.
camera.
You know,
Wait till the
appreciate
camera.
those that pressed their way here. The members of the town and other people that view us and watch us, I appreciate them. I know they miss me. They come home. We'll be home soon. We just want to get out here and stop. I've been wanting to get down here. I appreciate the Most High He gave this opportunity to come. Appreciate everybody that they even tell with the boot. Yeah, boot. I heard boot, so I just call boot. Our group Boston and my sister Boston, appreciate him too. Yoshi. And then Yoshi Poo, my wonderful wife, Dwayne Smith, call her Smith, appreciate her. And Dwayne, appreciate him. We couldn't find him this morning. We thought he was dead in his room.
Come on, man. Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
That's awesome. Well, call your parents. Say, I go. You know, teach my kid everything. I get called by that. Took them out the country. I don't know where they at. So, but we glad, appreciate that, them pressing and coming. There were others that definitely would have hard to be here as well. To appreciate the other ministers that labor with me too, Leon and Justin. Now I appreciate them too. Justin done took over. He done took over. He told me he said he'll kick some of y'all out. I told him I'd get back. I said I'll try to get you back.
He was erasing checks too.
I heard. He told
Oh
me,
yeah.
I got a board. I put a check on the board. One answer wrong. I said, come on, put the check up on the board. He done told someone, y'all still with my administration. I'm gonna take some checks off. Checks off the board. I had to come back and put all them checks back up there. He buying numbers. I said, this time, we definitely appreciate them being all of the sound crew, everybody. Other musicians, my boys too, appreciate them. They've been holding everything down for me. Appreciate everybody working on what they do. Big Tim, yeah, appreciate everybody. But we definitely appreciate everybody. Most High will try to do it again. And, see what it does say. But for me, I can't say enough. It's the most important thing I have in my life. You know, I tell people I was screw up for a long time. A lot of things didn't kind of make sense to me, but this has been the most perfect thing I ever found in my life. And then maybe to get an understanding of why. First, it was some calm, looking for a reason to quit, looking for a reason to doubt, because it don't make sense of what it does. You just have to know it. It makes sense, the fact that he's telling you. So if his intent is, you don't want me to say, why would you tell me what not to do? Mm-hmm. I'm telling you what not to do, because I don't want this to happen to you. Mm-hmm. So the choices you make, just like people in life, good parents teach their kids to do certain things, but kids sometimes tend to go on. Mm-hmm. It ain't because, they're going to tell you, tell them because I don't want it to happen. This is his whole end of showing you I care. Because he tried to chase us, he tried to correct us, but he gave 10 times. He said, how many times? How many times y'all keep this error every time? I'm done. But he had a plan the whole time to raise up some under him. He said, this is a people generation I say. All of us were Christians. Yeah. Listen, I would not tell a lie. I had never had, Christianity always, not me. I was content. Never happened. I never was walking around. Something don't seem right with Jesus. I had no problem with Jesus. I had no problem with Holy Ghost. I had no problem with church. I had no problem. Somebody sent me something. I looked at something. I looked it up and I saw it. It just threw everything. But it made sense in the word. He said he was sought of them that wouldn't seek it. I found I wasn't looking for him. I just saw people say, all my life I had questions in it. All my life religion never made sense. And that could be true for them. But for me, I didn't have no problem. I was a happy Christian. All these members joined me as Christians. That's right. All of them pretty much that's there. And they all joined as Christians. Yep. So it never was like something troubling me. It wasn't. But when I saw it, it laid so much on me. Because I was like, wow. I mean, what do? I got to get up and I got to tell people this is wrong. And that was hard because it's a matter now people look and say, if that wasn't right, how can we trust you now anything? But I kept my integrity and I looked at all I want and I always want, I just want the truth. If I don't want to do it, then that's something I gotta be, and that's crazy. I do want it, I'm just saying. But don't hold back nothing me saying I don't, just let me know what it is and let me make a decision. Don't hold something back from me and you know it's right. Let me know so I can weigh it for myself and see whether or not I'll do it. Because sometimes we'll look at, I mean, it's a lot of people, I give up my money, I give up my cars, I give up my house, will you just obey the truth? And that's harder than giving up everything you got. Sometimes it's easy for some people that some of the stuff go. Because a lot of stuff you have, but those that y'all don't have much, it's more work. Getting is one thing, keeping is another. Because when you get stuff makes you serve it. I tell people, I said, stop, don't just be worried behind stuff. Because I watch so many people, and they whole life is embottled in trying to keep things. I do business, I do stuff, I try to keep myself in a mentality of, if I lose it all, I just want to make sure I'm good with myself. Because I realize it ain't because I'm a good businessman or I can get this or I know how to make things click. It's him just giving me that favor for a while. And you know the thing about it, believe it or not, I come to realize nobody has anything, anybody who possesses something, somebody lost it. So I had to ask myself, if somebody lost it for me to get it, I had to give it up for somebody else to get it. So you learn how to appreciate, learn how to have things and things don't have. Like a lot of people, things are that's their whole existence. Things. I don't want my life to be things. I want my life, I like a nice life, but I want to make sure my relationship is not cluttered or fluttered by things. And if I lost some and I don't have some, then it dampens the way I serve him or I acknowledge him. So I try to keep that balance. I try to encourage people to realize whatever your situation is, it ain't ever always got to be that way. You learn how to appreciate, you learn how to understand him and know him, and when he give you things, you learn how to be a good steward over it. Those are things I try. Anything he give you, you learn how to keep it. To me, that's most important. And I realize whatever he like health, strength, that's all alone. Somebody blind, I can see. Somebody can't walk, I can walk. And eventually it might come, I'll be blind. And somebody who's blind might say, you know what? One day my eyes should open up. I can start seeing. And neither do we know we all connect. Like them, it was gonna take them to die for their seed to inherit. Think about it. A seed has to go in the ground and die in order for it to give life. Those people were seed, because we call them children. They had to fall in that ground and die for their kids to inherit. Life don't work like that. That people just, everybody inherit. It's all given in abundance to people. He take it from one and give it to another. That land they went to get, that land wasn't sitting empty. There wasn't no free plot. That was somebody else's land, and they wanted to take it. He was trying to teach them, when you get something, that came from somewhere else. So you appreciate, if I took that from Stephen to give it to you, what makes you think I want to take it from you and give it to Patrick if you don't do what I want? So you learn to versus, well, he'll just go make another one for something. No. I need you to teach how everything balances. It's like an ecosystem. They all balance off of each other. So you learn to appreciate the things he gives you. I used to do a lot of mumbling drumming. Like I said, it wasn't wow, but you know how to do it in your heart. You know how uphill to think things. I appreciate the fact of the serenity he gives you. Learn, take your time and appreciate what you got. So I appreciate y'all. Get ready, we'll allow. So for Anthony, what you think about what you heard?
What that sermon?
What you think about what you heard?
Yes.
It's about the sermon about the lesson.
Yes, I think it's about what I had was that we should focus on what we do. That is what I had. That we should focus and make sure that and whatever God has asked us to do, we have to do it. And it's basically like a father and son activity. Make sure you follow that instruction. Sometimes when they feel your dad is overstressing you, but meanwhile it's for a betterment for you. When you're a child, you don't really understand certain things, but when you grow, you try to appreciate what your father taught you when you were a child. And that is the way of the words.
We definitely appreciate it too. Appreciate it. That's a bigger brother, huh?
Yeah, sure.
I was big on that.
We too behind you. That's right. Too behind. We definitely appreciate that. We'll stand now. Which way? East this way. And we'll get ready for live. We always lift our hands up as a sign of when we put our will and men for legs loud everywhere, lifting up Kudash hands. Most High, Kudash Father, which is the separated Father. I do thanks again for this opportunity allowing us to be here. I do for the traveling return, for your mercies, for the return you've given us from the night, which is the later, to the you, which is the day. I do for not cutting us off a long time ago when we should have. I do for your repentance, for your remission, for the removing of our kata'im and our all which our sins and our transgressions. Baraka us, which is bestowed a gift or benefit upon us. Through the ka'i, which is the life, through the mut, which is the death, and the dam, which is the blood of Yahushua HaMashiach, which is your salvation here unto us. Forgive us for thoughts, ideas, and actions we display that goes contrary to your Kudash will, which is your separated. Baraka us, we restore a gift of benefit upon us, according to the Baruch Yushan, which is the covenant you vowed, to Abraham, Yasakah, Yaakov, the Yahudi, to Yasharal, their Tubadah, which is the generation, even to us, and our Tubadah, which are our generation. Baraka your Shamaim, your Salute, which are the height expansion where you dwell in your armies. Let your Shem be Kabul and Kabbalah, which is the glory and honor. Let the Tahalim, which are the praises, be to Yahushua HaMashiach. Baraka, your Shalakim, your sent ones, your Raha, your shepherds, and your Malaki, your messenger, that they might speak in the law, which is the word, without wavering, without compromising, and that it be a benefit to your home, which is the people. Baraka, us with your piney, your face, and let it pour upon us, lighten. Let it be our encampment and circle us around as a protection. Be a baraka to the married, the single, the separated, the sick, the afflicted. Be a baraka to those that we separated from in this hour and time, and keep them as you've been a keeper to us. Baraka those in authority, those we commit to you and Palau, that ask us to Palau for them, which is ask that you will grant them their law desire, their heart desire. Baraka those in leadership and authority, execute your will. Those behind prison walls, those in war-stricken country, those going through disease and pestilence. We allow that you will blunt us, which is teach and show us, instruct us. Seal us with the Ruach HaKadosh, which is the spirit of separation. Make us a Kodashim, the separated one. Make us Talmud, make us complete. Make us joint heirs with the Mashiach, which is the anointed. Again, without you, we are nothing. And we've done all we can do here on this side. If you see fit that we don't come to see the human, which is rise to see the day, we allow in which we ask for a home in your Malakut, which is in your empire, where we can see your Pani, your face, and we can tahalim your Shem letter, which is praise your name. In the Shem of Yahushua HaMashiach we allow. Let us all say, don't forget, the way you talk, come on, you say, they are precious in His sight. Rob the children of the congregation. Tomorrow 1:30?
Yes.
Oh yeah. He actually no, I just watch it every time. He actually does you guys did last year. Oh yeah. He actually told me that you guys did live stream. I didn't know. He didn't even know. So in UK, so just videos. I came to YouTube. Then I'll play it. I'll watch. So what are you doing on that? Why don't you know this guy's doing live stream? Yeah. And then you want to kiss up with Patrick. Absolutely. Did you go to the same church? How do y'all wind up with me? Well, organization. Okay. That was being sponsored by government. The production of the Hamilton. Okay. So then he had the opportunity that he might care about that organization, Master Joe, that we had issues with all of it. So that's how we got to become friends. Okay. So he's talking. Because you should listen to it. So that's lifetime. I'm like,
What is the seed?
Robert, you like, we have communicated years. I said, well, now. I say he was there for the benefit of getting you over there. See that? I was like, get you to the South Lawn, too.
That's true.
Yeah, so that helped them to meet other people, you know. Then what you go to a Christian church? Okay, what was that?
Cut down.
They don't want to do right. That's all I just want to know, right? Just want to know the truth.
Yeah, simple, that's a law.
Don't go to each other.
Yeah.
They're such a lifestyle. It's normal.
More people don't start to turn though. As the work keep getting worse, people got left. It's almost like, what else can happen? Yeah. Right, look at Turkey.
Yeah.
You tell me 11,000 troubles don't make you think about something? They're flooded. I mean, and then shouldn't you be thinking about something? You still got to deal with the disease, all the animals gonna die. You can't boil the thing. That stuff don't watch. Sand all over. It usually puts sand over where you trying to grow into white land. It's like, look at that. The whole country. When you talking about, these are new houses. When you struck your head. And some folks. In America, California.
Hey,
California is the most strawberry. They do more olive oil.
Just in your shit, also.
it is cold in here.
Listen, and y'all way, it rains one time a year. Like, got snow. Listen,
That's how far.
snow.
That's how far
They
they
got
got
hit,
story.
they get it at 6 feet. They get it at 6 feet. Then they got flood. They don't watch the roll. That's all. So they actually got that out in California and in Washington State.
What did we do?
Every year.
Wow.
In California, that's
You said
the
I know
strawberries, the oranges.
Oh.
I mean, they want to work out for the U.S.
Oh, crazy, man.
And maybe a little bit, we should laugh.
He destroyed it. All the stuff that people looked at was like high-minded. He destroyed it. Big in there. Destroyed. Look at that. The world leaders look at going to prison. Man, let's see this. You got a warrant from the Human National Court for a president to go to prison. That is serious. You basically ain't gonna have to get involved and say, you're gonna have to answer the warrant. This man, you're not looking at this thing. So, they said next year China and the U.S. will be a real fight next year over Taiwan. Yeah, they want, but see, we don't kill our troops. They put troops over.
Seeing white about
I know what. You gonna make me
I see Australia, all the niggas in this white stuff.
We got one more with this phone.
We were not.
Hey, they say it on here. It's true.
No, it's not.
Whatever they say is true.
No, it's not.
Hey, so you calling these people lying?
We're not saying
You calling these people lying?
You come here and serve. Look at that. Let me see what that is.
It's true. Hey, so you say these people are wrong?
Yeah.
No. Yo, this is the doc. Okay?
I know.
This is the doc.
Cause everybody else is going on.
Come on, Tab. Stand up. Show them the dress. You ain't shy. You ain't shy. She was like shower boss.
What people are doing now is
So far, you all right, man. We just figured, man. Ain't nobody doing that. No. Yeah, man. We just recording for the service.
we're selling the rest of the world. China and India.
We just recording.
They sell the biggest export of oil from what? So they buy it. That's what's keeping them safe. So that's why NATO is going out to every country buying smaller country. What's the end? Don't buy it. We're gonna come back and food. We're gonna attack you somewhere. So don't buy them. They got much of money, but they ain't work. Once he got Russia, once he got China, that's all being They said China needs America, so they trying to make a free. I think they'll force a lot of people here. Yeah, get together. Yeah. Africa will use her here. There is nobody that will trade on anything.
Oh, we just video.
Growing so damn man.
Do it.
Don't you pull it. Get it from us. That's right. Instead of you strengthening back from up, which looks stupid.
Yeah, I wouldn't even watch it. I know, right? I gotta watch it. He's really shy. Wow.
I'm saying that you guys give me a hard time.
But
Give me a hard time.
it's so many years involved. Your kid.
I look at it.
It's nothing.
So, when I was like, give me a hard time.
So they keep a lot of people, this thing, so man, you gotta keep people out of the way, who's gonna change the course of what they do. So then you look at, you want to, hold on, break up. Yes. We're gonna put the things out here. That's a problem. China get them rain on worms.
What's that? Yes.
Yeah, let's take him on tour. All right, y'all, we're gonna go on a tour of the property.
That's crazy.
One of these.
They don't realize.
Right.
Cut it.
I don't know what it is, like, people don't care, it's like, they commit.
Yeah, that's
That's it.
Do the other one like that too. Yeah.
Look for the hours. What you trying to show?
So we live in Africa, man.
That's how they living. Oh, they ain't got that. Woo. Look at that.
Look at it, man.
Look at that. Ghana. This is Ghana. Look at that.
Got the gates, got the security. That car going away.
I know. I'm gonna show them that.
Yeah.
That 28,000 look better than any name brand. What you say that called? Japanese or Chinese? Chinese, yeah, Chinese car.
That's why nobody can live. None of these other countries. You say try to get south. That's right. That's how the first they go with this. We got that compliment.
That's right.
Yeah, we about to head out. Justin got a challenge for you, man. That's what Justin's saying right now.
You watch all that stuff. It's really making
I don't know what he's talking about, man. I have no clue.
Justin say, Dave, I challenge you to name one deal China cut with Siberia.
Siberia. One day trying to come with Siberia. I have no idea.
Oh, man.
We definitely like being good. It would be so good we could build something to sell. Just to have people, you need everybody, white people that's full of truth. So yes, everybody want to be correct. They don't say, oh well, they gonna leave property. They gonna destabilize your home. The homosexual. Where they gonna, when they do find y'all have planes all the time. Oh, planes. They go. I told them we got crosswalk gate all in the crosswalk. It's like it's a crosswalk. All the conversation. It's like how do you
All right, y'all. Tomorrow, be here, B Square, 1:30 p.m. Ghana time. You do the math.